remember to be lucky.
Great person said, I'd rather have luck than skill any day, right? 16. This is like the same kind of problem. Positive consecutive odd integers. What does that mean? Like say x was like 7, what would y be?
9.
Or?
5.
Yeah.
In this case, it has to be 9.
Right. And then the second thing you see y is greater than x, right? So 9. Which of the following is equal to y squared minus x squared? So this is not really a word problem, but it's a problem with variables in it. Two ways to solve it: either do it algebraically, or what I would have done, just use the 9 and 7 example, right? So if x is 7, y is 9, what is y squared minus x squared? Come on.
32.
32, alright.
Yeah.
32. And in this case, like, I forgive you if you actually just said you plugged in now for, like, you know 2x would be too small already. Okay, let me just write out x equals 7, y equals 9. So 2x would be 14, that would be way too small to equal 32. And by the way, you never start with A, you just start with C. And then see if, because all the multiple choices, if you do go with multiple choices are most always, I think always, ordered from least to greatest. Like if you look at number 17, it starts from negative 4/3 and goes to positive 4/3. So you start with the middle one, and then depending on if that's too high or too low or just right, then you go up or down. So we start with the middle, 2x plus 2, that's 2. Actually, in this case, 4x is bigger than 2x plus 2. Okay, so that kind of disproves this. Which one is it?
It's E.
It's E, right? 4x plus 4. You can solve it that way or algebraically, and
Yeah, I did mine algebraically.
okay.
Like, you can do x, and then since y has to be greater and it has to be consecutive, then y has to be x plus 2.
Right.
So
So
then you plug it in.
you say y equals x plus 2,
Mm-hmm.
and x equals x, and then you got x plus 2 squared minus x squared.
And then you can cancel out the x squared.
Right. Equals whatever, and then you cancel out x squared, you get 4x plus 4. That's preferable, but if you aren't thinking solidly, like at this point in the test, then you can always just rely on multiple choice too. But I prefer that too. I just started using that as an example because if you pick numbers that are low enough,
Mm-hmm.
it's very easy.
Yeah, like 1 and 3. Just like
Yeah.
really quick.
Oh yeah, 1 and 3. I use 7 and 9.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yep.
stuck with it. I wanted to make sure you guys could do this in your head. 17. And if you've taken up to pre-calc, I mean, I think the hardest thing is dumbing yourself down in terms of math, remembering some of the easy stuff you forgot. Luckily, there's no proofs and geometrical proofs in this test, but just remembering like how to fold it, right? Being able to spot that quadratic formula, those kind of things. Like some of you may be at calculus level, this stuff is way behind you. So just making sure you aren't too smart for the test. Next one. So this is a word problem with a plane. So you definitely want to draw this out. Sometimes they give you word problems with algebra. A lot of times they give you word problems with coordinates or with just triangles and geometry and stuff. So first they say it's an XY plane. So line L passes the origins perpendicular line 4x plus y equals k. So we'll just write 4x plus y equals k. Can we draw this line out?
Yes.
You can?
So you should have k.
You should have. Oh no, you can't. Just
Well, how do you?
K.
So why? So this is. Do you know what form this is?
Yeah, 2, 0. No. Okay, it's
It's like standard.
standard form, right?
Yeah.
And then convert this to the other one, but more
Should be y equals negative 4 plus x. Negative
Yeah.
4x plus k.
negative 4x plus k. So that's your line that they give you. You don't know what k is. It could be down here. It could be up there. So what is? But then one thing it asks you, it says line L is perpendicular to that line. So what does that mean about line L's?
The slope is 1/4.
1/4 x, and it passes through the origin.
So that's the, right?
So it's 1/4 x plus
Yeah.
0. So 1/4 x. Whenever they give you these problems, I mean, it's so predictable, right? It'll always be, like, they'll ask you either lines are parallel, in which case the slopes are the same, lines are perpendicular. They'll never ask you something more difficult. So none of you should be missing that kind of thing. So now they say that two lines intersect at point t, comma t plus 1. What is the value of t? So when two lines intersect, what does that mean? Like, that means that, so, well, they're not necessarily at a right angle, but they, the two lines intersect at a point. That means that at that point, if you plug in t for x and t plus 1 for y, they should be the same. Yeah. So let's just say, you probably could have ghosted this to
This one was weird.
4t plus t plus 1 equals k.
It works. You just plug it into the y equals 1/4
T
x.
plus 1 equals 1.
Okay, what do you plug in? What?
Just to the second equation,
Right?
you just plug in the points.
Okay, so t plus 1,
Substitute for x and y.
you substitute,
You substitute t plus 1 and t for
yeah,
x and y.
1/4 t, right? And what do you get for t?
Negative 4 over.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
3/4 t equals negative 1, you get t equals negative 4/3. So this is the case where I was confusing myself because I was looking at that one and I was going to plug in there and then set them equal. Sometimes you can get confused by having too much information. So it should have become obvious to me, and it was initially, that the k is unnecessary. The k is just used to confuse you. All you have to use from this is a negative 4. Get another line and then just plug in t plus 1 and t, and you get t equals negative 4/3.
Yeah, the K was definitely distracted because I solved for K and it just took a lot longer, but I got the same answer.
Okay.
I was just wondering, is there a quicker way? And now I feel kind of
That's quicker.
stupid that I didn't do it that way.
Yeah. But I mean, at this point, like, are you finishing early or are you running, like,
Yeah,
pretty
I'll
much
finish
on-
way early.
Right, so if you're finishing real early, you can afford that. And maybe you should do it both ways then, to make sure you didn't do a silly mistake.
Yeah, that's
you
why
have to catch those.
I circled it. I wasn't sure. I was like looking at it,
Yeah,
but at the time I didn't realize to do it that way.
right.
So
So, good thing pointing it out. 18. So, this is the word problem with variables. How do you convert the first clause into a equation?
X times y over 2 equals k. Plus y. Or plus
X
y.
plus, x
Yeah.
plus y over 2 is k.
Yeah.
And the second part, into statement.
That's what the answer is. That's what it's asking.
Okay, so it's saying which of the following is the average of x plus y plus z. So I would say x plus y plus z over 3 equals something. And that's what you want to solve for. And you definitely don't want to say equals x. You don't want to give something. Like you can say, like in this case, I wouldn't add a variable. If you already have so many variables, I would just say equals like a question mark. You could say a. I personally would stay away from it. It would be too confusing for me. So you know. So now, I mean, I already know what the answer would be. Yeah. Okay. So they're asking you for something. You just glance at the choices in this case because you have to. It says which of the following. In which case, again, you can't cover up multiple choice because it's one of those choices. So you can't just solve this. Like if I were to give you this, like you couldn't just solve it because you wouldn't know what they're asking, like what they want you to solve it in terms. Because x plus y plus z over 3 is the same as x plus y plus z over 3, right? Or it's the same as 2k plus z over 3, which is the answer. But you look at the problem, you look at the choices, you see that they're all in terms of k's and z's. How do you go about substituting things in and simplifying?
You have to solve for x plus y
Yep.
Right.
versus
So automatically you just, like if you're ever stuck on one of these problems, you just have to like move some things around. You got x plus y over 2 equals k, so you got x plus y equals 2k. And now you have 2k equals x plus y, and there's an x plus y there, so you make it into a 2k. 2k plus z over 3 equals your answer. That's A. Okay?
Yeah.
Was that, people who missed that, was that more silly mistake, or was that like just not solving it? You got it?
Yeah, right.
Nice. That's good. That's all I consider a silly mistake. 20. 15 divided by constant integer of k, remainder is 3. How many different values of k is this string? What does this mean? Like, what's an example of a k? Give me like a k that's gonna work for 12. 12, 4, 6. Right? Because you know that k basically goes into, k is a factor of 15 minus 3. Not equals, is a factor of that. Do you see what that is? Because you have, it says k, when 15 is divided by k, remainder is 3. That's the same thing as saying 15 minus 3 is a multiple of k. See? So basically that means k has to be a factor of 12. But it can't be any factor of 12. Because if you break down 12, what are the factors of 12? You have, I'm not going to do a tree, this is just saying, you have 12, you have 6, 2, 4, 3, 12 and 1. Right? Now if you divide 15 by 6, 4 by 12, yeah, then you have a remainder of 3, right? But if you divide 15 by 3, your remainder is 0.
Yeah.
By 2, remainder is 1. And by 0, remainder is 0. So you gotta be careful. Okay. I guess is, I mean, it seems like maybe like the word problem like you would have used, like this is like a reasoning problem. So you notice number 20, it's probably a little harder than just saying, look, 15 divided by 12 is remainder of 3, so it's 1. Like,
It is a reasoning problem, but you can almost do them one at a time and just count the number that do it.